Good morning, student. I am Vinay Khairnar, PGT Physics from Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, Shegaon district, Buldhana. Dear student, up to 10th class, we have learned some chapters related with the physics. So, in 9th and 10th class, whatever you have learned, we have to go into details of the physics. That means you are now entering into the world of physics. So, student, in this class 11th and 12th, you will really find the depth of knowledge of physics or the depth of physics. So, in this chapter, we will discuss about the physics and the main role of physics in various branches, or you can say what are the importance of physics in the science field. So, in this unit, we have to discuss what is science, steps involved in scientific method, what is physics, scope in experiments of physics, physics and technology and society. Now, one by one, I am going to discuss into detail. So, here is the chart. In this chart, you will find that the first one is the science, in which we are going to discuss about the physics. So, the subject physics is having the various branches in which we have to discuss scope of physics, then physics in relation to the science, physics in relation to society, concepts of physics. In scope of physics, you are having four things, that is mechanics, then electrodynamics, then optics and thermodynamics. Now, in physics in relation to other sciences, in that one, the other sciences are biophysics, physical chemistry, mathematical physics and astrophysics. In concepts of physics, you are having the fundamental forces. Again, that fundamental forces are divided into four parts, that is strong nuclear force, electromagnetic force, weak nuclear force and gravitational force. In conservation laws, we will discuss about conservation of mass, conservation of energy, conservation of linear momentum and conservation of angular momentum. So, we will discuss this chart in two parts. So, first of all, we will start about what is science. So, science is a systematic enterprise that builds and organizes knowledge in form of testable explanation and prediction about the universe. In an older and close related means, science also refers to a body of knowledge itself, of the type that can be rationally explained and reliably applied. A practitioner of science is known as scientist. So you can see here the great among the greatest, that is Newton here, which has played a very important role in physics. So the word science originates from the Latin word scientia, meaning to know. The knowledge which man has gained through observations and experiment when organized systematically is called science. That means in science you should have a knowledge that is nothing but the observations and experiment, and it has organized systematically. So the science which deals with non-living things is called the physical sciences. Examples of physical sciences are physics, chemistry, geology, geography, astronomy, astrology and oceanology. So, steps involved in scientific method. Dear friends, whenever we are discussing about the scientific method, that means in that scientific method, the certain things are very important. For example, if anybody is deriving any law, then for that particular law, he may perform the various experiments, various theories are there, and from that one, he will give certain predictions, certain laws he will finalize, and which will plays a very important role in physics. So, what are that particular steps involved in scientific method? First of all, ask a question. Second one, do background research. Third one, construct hypothesis. Then test with an experiment. Then analyze results, draw conclusions. So here, if the analyzed results when the result is analyzed and the conclusion has drawn, then the hypothesis is true, then report results. That means finalize the results. If suppose after analyzing the result and whatever the conclusion you have drawn, if the hypothesis is false or partially true, that means again you have to think, again you have to try for the correct hypothesis, and then the result, that means the report will be finalized. So these are the various scientific methods, or the you can say the steps involved in scientific methods. The knowledge of physics accumulated till 1900 is called classical physics, that deals with macroscopic phenomena. It includes subjects like mechanics, thermodynamics, electromagnetism, and optics. So, dear friends, here the microscopic, that means in a very large scale. There are two things, microscopic and macroscopic, that is MACRO, SCOPIC, and MICRO, that is microscopic. So macroscopic means on very large scale. So that deals with the mechanics, thermodynamics, then electromagnetism and optics. Next thing, that is scope and excitements of physics. The scope of physics is very large. Physics deals with a wide variety of disciplines such as mechanics, heat, and light. Study of mechanics helps us to know the forces involved in flights of a bird, walking of man, and so on. The study of heat helps us to know rise and fall of temperature, working of heat engine, and so on. Electricity helps to understand the basic principles involved in generators and motors. So, dear friends, you have studied in class 10th various generators, that is AC generator and DC generator. Again, in case of, you can say, the motion chapter, you have gone through the 3 laws of motion. So all these things, you can say, it will help the scope of physics with a very large scale. Next one, the exciting discipline of modern physics takes us into the microscopic world of atom and electron. Now you see, just I have derived, or I told you about the microscopic world. Micro means a very small one. That means if you are dealing with the atomic structure, then in the atomic structure, proton, neutron, and electrons are there. Then again the subatomic particles are also there. So this is called as a microscopic world. The distribution of charge proposed by Thomson in his model was tested by Rutherford in 1909 by using some atomic particles bombarded a target of an atom. These particles called as the alpha particle. These alpha particles were identified as one of the product of the radioactivity. That means radioactivity phenomena means what? There are some elements, radioactive elements are there. Whenever the decay process starts, then that time some elements are formed. So alpha particles are formed, were identified as one of the product of this radioactivity. In Rutherford's famous alpha particle scattering experiment, a stream of high energy alpha particles from a radioactive source is directed to a thin foil whose thickness was about 100 nanometer of gold metal, having circular fluorescent zinc sulfide screen around it. Whenever an alpha particle strikes on the skin, a tiny flash of light is produced at that particular point. That means Rutherford has, in that particular experiment of alpha particle experiment, he has, you can say, he has given the structure of atom. That means the nucleus is consist of positively charged and the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. This theory was given by the Rutherford. So now the physics in relation to the society. How the physics is important to the society. Physics in relation to the science, society, and technology. Among the various disciplines of science, only discipline which can regards as being most fundamental is physics. It has played a key role in development of all other disciplines. For example, physics in relation with the chemistry. Now you see how the physics plays a role in chemistry subject, or in chemistry. A study of structure of atom, radioactivity, X-ray, diffraction, etc. in physics has enabled chemists to rearrange elements in the periodic table and to have a better understanding of chemical bonding and complex chemical structure. So this Physics helps in chemistry for this all these particular things. So in physics in relation with the biological sciences, the optical microscopes developed in physics are extensively used in the study of biological sample. Electron microscope, X-ray and radio isotopes are used widely in medical sciences. Now you see here in biological sciences, whenever you are observing any microscopic particle, that means which you cannot be identified by your naked eyes, so that can be, you can find with the help of the microscope, in which different lenses are used. So it means you can say physics is very helpful in case of this biological sciences. Physics in relation to the astronomy, the giant astronomical telescope and radio telescope have enabled the astronomer to observe planets and other heavenly objects. Now you see in case of astronomical telescope, there also we are using the lenses having different focal length and aperture, so that you can see the heavenly objects very clearly. So but to study the astronomical, that means the study of astronomy, physics very in this physics plays a very important role. Physics related with the mathematics. Mathematics has served as a powerful tool in development of modern theoretical physics. Now he see, it is called as, it is says that physics and mathematics are brothers and sisters. So that what is the meaning of that one? Whenever you are having any theory, so after taking the different experimental readings, you have to draw certain conclusion. For that one, you have to you will need the help of mathematics. So or you can say that in physics, mathematics very important, or you can say by doing certain calculation you can go to the final stage of that particular law. Next one, physics related to the other sciences. The other sciences like biophysics, geology, oceanology and seismology use some of the laws of physics. Next, the physics related to society and technology. The technology, already you are very well aware, nowadays the technology plays a very vital role in our day-to-day life. For example, if we are using any Android mobiles, then computers, laptop, tablets, etc. Again, there is a very, you can say, various electrical or electronics items are there, which is related with the technology, in which the physics plays a very important role. So the development of telephone, telegraph, telex enables us to transmit message instantly. Now you see here, if you want to give any message, then immediately you can go to your mailbox and you can mail to any other person. And again, there are various things also. For example, WhatsApp is there, you can immediately share your messages to the person which is far away from you. So this is also very important thing. The development of radio and television satellites has revolutionized the means of communication. Now in the communication system nowadays, suppose the any match is going to play in any part of the world, then you can see that match on your television by sitting in your home. This is the miracle of science, or you can say the miracle of the physics also. Advantages in electronics, computer, calculators and lasers have greatly enriched the society. Rapid means of transport are important for the society. Generation of power from nuclear reactors is based on the phenomena of controlled nuclear chain reaction. And now I would like to focus on this particular point, that is nuclear controlled chain reaction. So with the help of this chain reaction, you can generate an electricity in a nuclear reactor. So dear friend, there are nuclear reactors in so many countries. With the help of that one, we are using the radioactive substance like uranium, and we are generating the electricity, which is very useful for our day-to-day life. So generation of power by using the these nuclear reactors, so in which controlled nuclear chain reaction is there. Controlled means what? That chain reaction should not be go out of control. So that means it should not be harmful, because there is advantage and disadvantage is also there. So in case of advantage, you can say the controlled nuclear chain reaction is very important. Digital electronics is widely used in modern technological development. So digital electronics, so you can see the world is occupying here by means of various equipments, where laptop, tablet, then calculators, etc. are there. So this technology is very useful for the development purpose. Now next one, Physics, the study of matter, energy, and their interactions, is an international enterprise which plays a key role in the future progress of humankind. The support of physics education and research in all countries is important because physics is an excitement intellectual adventure that inspires young people and expand the frontiers of our knowledge about nature. Second is physics generates fundamental knowledge needed for the future technological advantages that will continue to drive the economic engines of the world. Physics contributes to the technological infrastructure and provides trained personnel needed to take advantage of scientific advantages and disadvantages. Physics is an important element in the education of chemists, engineers, and computer scientists, as well as the practitioner of the other physical and biomedical sciences. Physics extends and enhances our understanding of other disciplines such as earth, agriculture, chemical, biological, and environmental sciences, plus astrophysics and cosmology, subjects of substantial importance to all peoples of the world. Physics improves our quality of life by providing basic understanding necessary for developing new instrumentation and technologies for medical application such as computer tomography, magnetic resonance imaging, that is also called the MRI, positron emission tomography, ultrasonic imaging, and laser surgery. Next one, scientific attitude and scientific method. So in this case, scientific methods, what are the different steps are involved in the scientific methods? So investigation in physics generally follow the scientific method, that is observations if you will take first, and initial data collection leading to a questions, hypothesis formation or formulation and testing, interpret result and revise hypothesis if necessary, state conclusion. Some hypotheses can be tested by making observation, other can be tested by building a model and relating to the real life situation. Here is the flow chart. In this case I have shown here. State the problem, then gather information about the problem, form the hypothesis, then test the hypothesis, analyze the data, draw a conclusion. If the hypothesis is not supported, then modify the hypothesis and follow the process from all this formation of the hypothesis, testing of the hypothesis, analyzing of the data, then drawing the conclusion. If the hypothesis is correct, then repeat several times and you will get the final result. Here you can see. Next thing, what is physics? The word physics comes from the Greek word physis, means nature, introduced by the ancient scientist Aristotle. Its Sanskrit equivalent is bhautiki. Man has always been fascinated by nature, so he questioned and sought natures for every phenomenon nature could offer. The branch of science which is devoted to the study of nature and natural phenomena is called as a physics. It is expected that all the events in nature take place according to some basic laws. Physics reveals these basic laws from day-to-day observation. The way of describing a physical world. Physics is understanding the behavior and structure of matter. It deals with how and why matter and energy act they do. Energy is the conceptual system of explaining how the universe works and accounting for changes in matter. Although energy is not a thing, three ideas about the energies are important. Number one, it is changed from one form to another form by physical event. Second thing, it cannot be created nor be destroyed. That is, you can say, conservation of law of energy. Third one, when it is transformed, some of it usually goes into heat. That means when the energy is transforming from one form to another form, then you can say that the conservation of law will not be violated. At the same time, whatever the energy is transformed, it may be transformed, that is, into more than two things. So here it is very important when the transformation of it is usually goes into heat. So next one, two basic quests in physics. One is unification and reductionism. So what is meant by unification? Unification means attempting to explain diverse physical phenomena in terms of few concepts and laws. For example, The same law of gravitation given by Newton accounts for number one, fall an apple to the ground. Second, motion of satellite around the planet. Third, motion of planet around the sun. Similarly, the basic laws of electromagnetism is in the form of Maxwell's explanation or Maxwell's equation explain all the electric and magnetic phenomena. This comes under the unification. Now the second term, that is reductionism. The reductionism means attempting to derive the properties of a bigger, more complex system from the properties of its constituent simpler part. That means if you are having any bigger or complex system, then that will be divided into a small part, or you can say that small part can be very easy to understand. So that is called the reductionism. That means you are going to reduce the bigger into smaller one. So for example, the subject of thermodynamics deals with the bulk system in terms of macroscopic quantities. Now you see macroscopic quantities means so many large quantities are involved there, like temperature, internal energy, entropy, etc. The latter development of kinetic theory and statistical mechanics interpreted these quantities in terms of properties of molecular constituents of bulk system. For example, temperature of bulk system was related to the average kinetic energy of the molecules of the system. So you can say these are the examples of the reductionism. So dear friends, now these physics are having different branches. What are those branches in physics? So you can see here the first one, thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is the branch related with the heat and temperature. Then second one you can say here, mechanics. Mechanics means motion and its causes. Already you have studied the chapter motion in 9th class. So in that case you have studied the motion of the various objects. So you can say that was in the mechanics. Third one, vibrations and waves. That is the periodic motion. You have studied about the different types of motion also. In that one, in case of periodic motions, vibrations and waves, this is again the branch of physics. Then atomic physics. In this one, you have the structure of atom, energy associated with atomic charges. So nuclear physics. The nuclear physics, the structure of nucleus, energy associated with the nuclear charges. Or you can say what are the changes are there in case of the nuclear reactions. So that things goes in the nuclear physics. So electromagnetism. In electromagnetism, electricity, magnetism and electromagnetic waves you will study in this electromagnetism. Similarly, optics, the behavior of light. So these are all the branches in physics. So dear friends, you will study these different branches, or you can say that the different chapters are there in our 11th and 12th class, which will be divided in all the branches, and one by one you will study that things. Now I think all these things about this first physical world chapter we have discussed, and the remaining part of this chapter we'll discuss in the next slide. I hope you have understood about the role of physics in various branches, or how the physics is important in our day-to-day life. Thank you very much.